Right, welcome ladies and gents. Let's review The Killer, David Fincher movie on Netflix with Michael Fassbender, Tilda Swinton. That's basically it. There's no one else is really relevant in this. It's a Michael Fassbender movie, which has been a long time coming. I haven't seen Michael Fassbender leading a film for a while. I'm sure he has, but they've not really been mainstream. He sort of fell out of Hollywood's favour after Alien Covenant, I believe, starred in a string of box office bombs, and people chose not to hire him, which is unfortunate because he's a great actor. And David Fincher is, of course, David Fincher. Always bloody good, quite frankly. This movie was good. It was really good. 2 hours, long film. I was a bit worried because it's a Netflix film, so I was like, oh, this is going to be a Netflix version of a David Fincher film. But it's not. It's very much a David Fincher film, just released on Netflix. So, what is the story? Well, the story is Michael Fassbender plays a hitman. So, he is essentially going through his process, his methodology, how he succeeds at being the very best. And he misses. And basically what happens from there is people come for him, he's got to clean up some mess, and it's this sort of epiphany moment, I guess, within his character that he is no longer built for being a hitman. He's no longer built for being in that life, I guess is probably the best way of putting it. But it's beautifully shot, and it's such a great performance from Michael Fassbender. That dude is like endlessly in shape, really works hard at his craft. His accents sometimes can be a little bit off. I think he pulled this one off. It's like a non-distinct American accent, I guess. But it's so well shot. Bloody David Fincher, he knows how to shoot a movie, doesn't he? You know, that's like saying that the sky's blue. Of course he does. It's such a good film. This is one of those films that would have been on the big screen 20 years ago. You definitely would have seen this in theatres 20 years ago, and people would have watched it. They would have gone, "What's that? The Killer? Yeah, I'll go out and watch that." Genuinely, it's such a shame how the movie industry and sort of genres as a whole that get featured have come and gone, and what some of the good, not good, some of the better films out there fall by the wayside from theatrical releases, because this would have looked great on the big screen. It's got such great framing, really, really good framing, and the writing's great because you are asked to believe that this world exists beneath our feet, that only the rich and powerful can access, those in the know. It's a bit like John Wick in that way, that they've just established a universe with all these sort of, you know, I say interconnected, but it's that sort of, yeah, it is interconnected elements that just work, facets to the universe. These people do this, and these people do that, and this is the currency they use. That sort of thing. In this universe, or in this world, in this Hitman world, they establish stuff which is quite believable, actually. You know, this person has this role. They keep records by doing it like this, this, and this. Great. And how Michael Fassbender goes around doing the things that he does is brutal. Man, he can act. He does some real brutal things in this movie. Really brutal things. Some of it is implied brutal, and some of it is out and out, yeah, you see it and it's disturbing. It's quite gross. Like, no massive spoiler, but a nail gun to someone's lungs. Pretty brutal, quite frankly. Now, one of the really good things I enjoyed about this movie was the soundtrack. The soundtrack is great. Now, David Fincher does the soundtrack in a way where the soundtrack is both for us and then also for the character. So, as part of Michael Fassbender's Hitman's process, is he listens to music and it drowns out the noise and the thoughts, the subconscious. And so when he's listening to it, we can hear a little bit from what he's listening to, and then it fades into us, the audience, listening to it as a soundtrack. And it's very well done. And the score that he uses, that is employed in this film, is great as well. I mean, Portishead, Glory Box, for instance. Great track. Great. If you don't know that track, go listen to it. You'll thank me later. It's a really, really good song. And I like that. The set pieces, the locations are solid, genuinely solid. And I think this is one of those roles that is built for Michael Fassbender. It's not that I'm watching Michael Fassbender. I acknowledge it's him as an actor in this role, but I'm not watching it thinking it's him. But when you take a step back and you're watching the film, I don't think there's many actors that could have pulled this off in the way that he did, that it wouldn't have been cheesy. Because he's very meticulous and very sort of almost sterile and hygienic about the way he's going around these things. Very clinical with what he's doing. And I think it genuinely could have come across very cheesy from another actor. But it was a great, honestly, really, really good. Doesn't suffer from anything that a normal Netflix movie suffers from. I don't know what the association was, whether Netflix just bought it or whether they had a hand in the production. I don't think they did. I think they just bought it. And that's probably why there's no sign of them over this at all. The editing's great. It's not over long. It's 2 hours, but it's not over long. It tells exactly the story it needs to tell and not a second more. I think it works very, very well. So, yeah, if you've seen it, I'd love to hear your thoughts, genuinely. Because it's there, it's on Netflix. I know, plenty of people still have Netflix. So I'd love to hear it if you've seen it. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? What were your pros and cons? For me, there's very little cons about this film. This film was exactly what it needed to be for me to enjoy it. It wasn't anything else. It didn't present itself as anything else. I just thought it was a very, very good film as is. And I think it works great as is. It just holds up nicely. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them down below for anyone that wants to share them. And if you're new here, please do hit subscribe. Give the video a like. And please do share the video. But thank you so much for watching. As always, I've been Mr. H. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.